Welcome to a Chesapeake Public Schools Family Empowerment webinar presented by the Office of Family and Community Engagement. Our office, which is part of the Department of Engagement, aims to build meaningful partnerships that inspire, engage, and empower families, educators, and community organizations to support the initiatives of Chesapeake Public Schools. You can reach us at our main phone line or via email at the contact information listed on the screen. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working together to strengthen our community and support our students. Our goal is to continue providing families with valuable webinars, events, and information to empower them in the educational setting. We're excited to offer our families the Peak Parent University course catalog, which provides an overview of all of our events for the school year. Here, you can also catch up on pre-recorded webinars, explore a wide range of educational resources, and make valuable community connections to enhance your family's well-being. Please take a moment to scan the QR code, which will give you access to our Peak Parent University. This will provide you with monthly updates, including descriptions, times, and locations of upcoming events. Thank you for joining us for our Moving Up to High School webinar. We're excited to welcome a panel of knowledgeable educators to help you navigate the first year of high school. We will hear from an administrator, counselor, teacher, student, and student activities coordinator who will all offer advice from their perspective to help you have a successful school year. First, let's hear some advice from one of our high school administrators.
I want to thank you for joining us. Again, I'm John Close. I'm the principal at Western Branch High School, and I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about building a strong foundation as your student transitions to high school. Just a few key points that I want to address, and I want to start with the fact that at the high school level, attendance is extremely important. Our classes are semester-long classes for the most part, which means they last for 90 days. So if you can imagine, if a student misses 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 days in a class, they're already far behind. Missing one class in high school is like missing 3 classes at the younger grades. So we encourage students to get off on the right foot by being consistent in their attendance at school. We're here to help. We have resources to help them. We can offer rewards and incentives to motivate students, but it's really important that from the beginning they focus on being consistent at school, being being on time to class, and being prepared and ready to learn each day. A second step for a strong foundation is that students need to learn early on in their high school career to communicate with their teachers effectively. We work on this as a skill at the high school level, but we really do want students to be able to ask for help when it's needed. If you're, as a parent, if you're starting to see your student, their grades are slipping, the performance is not where you expect it to be, or you're getting a lack of feedback from the teachers, certainly we want you to reach out. But we also want to encourage students to not wait. That as soon as they are starting to struggle, if they're starting to fall behind in their grasp of the content, that they are reaching out to their teachers themselves, and communicating effectively via email or staying after class to have those conversations. Teachers are always willing to help students, especially those that are really putting forth the effort and want to do their very best. So we know that advocating for yourself is a skill that high school students are learning to grasp, but we just encourage that, early on, students just take a moment and communicate with your teacher, positive, asking for help, whatever it might be. But taking those initial steps to do that will encourage them with confidence to do that when those times where they really, really do need to seek out help, it's there. Of course, you're going to hear from guidance counselors here in a moment. The counselors are also, your administrators are also always willing to help out as well. The main thing is that students need to know who those resources are within the building for where they can get the help that they need. Because our job is to get them to their greatest potential while they're in high school and to prepare them to take whatever their next step might be in high school. My third step for a strong foundation is very true. Is that if you really want the high school experience, you have to get involved beyond the classroom. That's in our clubs, our sports, our different service organizations, volunteering both in the school and outside of the school. There's a number of different ways to get involved, and the studies continue to show that students who are involved outside of the classroom, they are our highest academic performers. They're the ones that are getting the most out of the high school experience. And they're also the ones that are contributing back into the school community. So they take pride in performing well. They take pride in their behavior in the hallways. And they're really a contributor to the overall school culture. So we encourage all students to get involved. We have 100 different clubs at each school. There's tons of different opportunities to get involved, whether that's a club, whether that's a sport, whether it's an organization like Stage Crew, where they're supporting programs. We have special opportunities like during Black History Month. We have performances, and so students get involved to use their talents in a number of different ways. But if you want to do well in high school, by and large, I encourage students to get involved beyond the classroom. The fourth step for a strong foundation really is for students to be willing to accept the challenges that are placed in front of them. You know, we've seen that students have to build resilience. They have to be willing to take some chances with their academics. Also outside of the classroom in the school, they have to be willing to take some chances to build confidence. They have to be willing to make some mistakes along the way. And we as administrators and as counselors and teachers, we are there to support them when those failures do happen. But we want students to regularly to accept the challenges, the rigorous challenges that are placed before them. The more they do that, the more confidence students will build as they head towards their senior year. And then making those big decisions like what college they're going to attend, or which branch of the military they're going to go into, or whether they're going to accept that contract to work in a place of employment. And so we want to prepare them as much as we can, but it takes a willingness and a grit to face those challenges that come throughout high school head on, knowing that support is there for them, but to not avoid taking those challenges. That includes taking some challenging courses or some courses that are maybe beyond what their strengths are. We love to see students take classes in the technology area or in business and marketing, things that they might not know that they're interested in, but as they get into the course, they can often find out they are. And of course, we love to see students take advanced placement courses and to really challenge themselves, some dual enrollment courses where they can get college credit and face a different level of challenge and rigor. So the last of these, this is a saying we have at Western Branch High School, and that is we want students to be in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing at all times. And students can live by that. If they can be in the right place, if they can be in the classroom when they're supposed to be there, not in the hallways or not in the bathrooms. If they're doing the right thing when they're in the right place, and that is focused on their learning and not just on the social aspect of high school, but focused on their learning. And if they can be doing the right thing, and that is making the right choices, following school rules, and be an example and a leader for their peers, then they are going to be successful in high school. They're going to find that they have people around them to support them when they do face those challenges. And they're going to find that their high school experience will be richer if they're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And that's how we like to live in excellence at Western Branch High School. And I know at all the high schools, they focus on those aspects. So just in closing, I just want to encourage you again to have those conversations with your student early on about attendance, about communicating when they're in need, about getting involved beyond the classroom, accepting the challenges placed before them, and being in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Kia Evans, and I have been a school counselor for over 10 years, and I've been with Chesapeake Public Schools for a bit. I've had the opportunity to work in elementary, middle, and high school. So I would love to share just a few tips that would help make your transition to high school a successful one. First and foremost, it is not the last time you'll hear this, and I'm sure it's not the first either, is attendance, right? Attendance truly matters. It is one of the biggest predictors of success in high school. It is so much easier to stay caught up on your tasks versus having to play catch up in the end, right? One big thing about attendance in high school, though, is that it can also impact whether or not you earn the credit for the classes that you're taking. So every effort to be present and on time each day must be made. It is a matter of earning your high school diploma on time. Okay. My next tip would be to communicate with your teachers, with your parents, with your counselors. We want to make sure that you succeed. And honestly, the adults in this building are your greatest resources for success in high school. If you're confused about an assignment, if you're struggling with content, or you feel like you need extra help, ask those questions earlier on and communicate with your teachers often. Third, I would say would be checking your email. And that's another part of communicating as well, right? So we're checking our emails daily. And this is not just for students, but this is a tip for parents as well. So much information comes out electronically. Communication from your teachers, your counselors, your coaches, your administrators. We all frequently send updates about opportunities, deadlines, testing information, school events, all come through email. Get into the habit of checking your email daily, and it will help you stay informed. And also, it'll keep you from missing those important deadlines and tasks that you have coming up and events as well. That also ties into staying organized. High school does come with an increased level of independence for the student and also responsibility on the student. Whether or not you use a planner, and I know that's something that we pushed a lot in middle school, is getting an organization tool in place to help you keep track. In high school, as I said earlier, that increased independence and that increased responsibility really come down to handling it with some sort of organization tool, whether it's a planner or your phone calendar or something. You must keep track of assignments, of due dates, and activities, right? This will reduce your stress because it's helpful coming into the week, knowing what your week is going to look like, and also day to day, knowing what your days are going to look like, knowing what's due for what class and when. I would also encourage you to take advantage of tutoring opportunities and any academic support opportunities that we offer. Successful students are not students who never need help. Successful students are the ones who recognize they need help and seek that support. Use the resources available. Your school, I guarantee, will offer tutoring either before school or after school or both. And we do that to make sure that we're giving you every opportunity to seek that extra support that you need. And a quick note on that as well, not just individual subject tutoring, but also SOL tutoring. A lot of that happens after school, and it is extremely helpful for being successful. Now, coming into high school, we do have those two diploma types that I'm sure you've heard about. Um, we're not going to go over it here, and it is extremely confusing the first time you hear it. It's probably going to be confusing the 20th time you hear it, but your diploma type, the advanced diploma or the standard diploma, know what it is your goal is to achieve at the end of high school, and make sure you're picking classes that align with your goal. Don't just pick classes because your friends are picking classes. Make sure you know that the classes you're taking are going towards either the advanced diploma or the standard diploma, whichever is your goal for graduation. I'd also like to encourage you to get involved in your school's activities. There are plenty in high school: clubs, athletics, theater, any other extracurricular. We have SCA, we have leadership, we have yearbook. There's so much to do and so many ways for you to meet new people, develop new skills, and also get connected with your school community. Now, having said all of that, I want to let you know that it is okay to not know everything coming into high school, parents and students both. It's okay to feel nervous about it and maybe a little anxious about transitioning to high school. I know a lot of students worry about getting lost in the hallways because school is so much bigger now, making new friends. Are you going to see your old friends? Are you going to have classes together, keeping up with assignments, or just even figuring out where you're going to fit in the cafeteria of hundreds of students now, right? The good news is that you don't have to have everything figured out on day one. That's why we're here. Your teachers, your counselors, your administrators, we're all here to help you navigate this transition and also support you along the way. Finally, and almost as important as the very first thing on this list, is have fun. High school goes by so much faster than you think it will and faster than you're probably prepared for. Get involved, make those memories, try new things, and enjoy the experience. Before you can imagine it, you'll be preparing for graduation and honestly wondering where all that time went. I look forward to welcoming all of you this fall and, of course, wish you all the best as you begin this exciting new chapter. I'm going to pass this on to one of our amazing teachers here at Chesapeake Public Schools. Thank you.
Hello, students, and welcome to high school. Rest assured that you are in for an exciting and a memorable experience. Know and understand that you are ready. I am Mr. Howell. I teach at Grassville High School, and I've been teaching for 30 years. And I'm going to give you a few brief pointers on how to help make your transition a smooth one. First and foremost, ask questions. Don't fear speaking up. If there is anything that you don't know or do not understand, it is important that you make sure that someone knows that you do not know or you don't understand. This creates feelings of anxiety, and that feeling of uneasiness comes from not understanding. This feeling can easily be overcome simply by you asking the right questions to the right people and seeking clarity. 9 times out of 10, I can guarantee you there's someone out there who has the same exact question that you have, and they're just as fearful as you, and they will appreciate you for speaking up. So please do not be afraid to ask questions. Next, managing your newfound freedom. You definitely have to plan ahead. You will have a lot more freedom in high school than you had in middle school. Your bell schedules are going to be different. The building is going to be larger. Your classes are going to be located farther away from each other. You have the liberty to roam the building untethered without a hall pass. You will need to get a feel for the distance between your classes and how long you can actually talk with your friends and still be able to get to class on time. Hopefully, your school does have an introductory program for freshmen. If you're not able to make that program, or if they do not have one, set up an appointment so that you can go tour the school and the inside of the building. You do not want the first day that you see the inside of the building to be the first day of school. So please learn to manage your newfound freedom. Grades. You've been getting grades ever since kindergarten, elementary school, middle school. Those grades were important, not nearly as important as they are now. Your grades now have meaning. It is critical that you monitor your grades, and I always advise my students to monitor them several times a week. It is as easy as putting the app on your phone, and it takes a matter of seconds. It amazes me in a sad way how often I have asked students about their grades, not only in my class, but in other classes that they are taking, and they actually have no idea what their grades are or how many missing assignments they have. Teachers do make mistakes. If you see something entered incorrectly, respectfully say something to your teacher, because that GPA is important, especially if you plan on continuing your education past high school. Every grade earned will be a part of your transcript. So grades have meaning. Keep that in mind and monitor them several times a week. Who are your friends? Choose wisely. Probably ever since you started preschool or kindergarten, your parents have been pushing you and urging you to be careful how you choose your friends, because you are who your friends are. You are the company you keep. I'm sure you've heard those. You will come to high school with friends. You will make new friends in high school. You need to understand that true friends will help you make good decisions. A friend also has to be someone that you can trust. They will be an integral piece of your high school career, and they will help guide your mood, whether it's a good one or a bad one, on a daily basis. They need to be people who really care about you. So be very careful in choosing your friends. Your high school counselor. It is critical that you stay connected with your high school counselor. Your counselor is there for academic planning while in high school and career planning beyond high school. Your counselor can help guide you towards different clubs that you may want to join that could benefit you based on your interest. Your counselor is also there to provide mental health support if needed and simply get to know you. Make sure that your counselor knows you. Reach out to him or her by email and find a way to stay connected with your counselor. Independence versus dependence. You guys are freshmen, you're 13, 14, maybe 15 years old. You've been in school a long time, and I'm sure you've heard your parents, your teachers, plenty of people in your corner tell you, be independent, be able to do things on your own. Independence is a powerful tool that we all strive for. Being independent is great, but you need to know when you need help. Gaining independence, guys, it's a process that requires you to depend on others until you actually can operate without that guidance. If a situation's uncomfortable, don't be afraid to call on a teacher. Don't be afraid to call on a parent. Don't be afraid to call on a friend. Strive to be independent, but understand that dependence is not a bad thing. Last but not least, responsibility. Great choices will lead to success. That is a factual statement. The one word that comes to mind when I think of responsibility is choices. You are the source of the choices that you will make. People can attempt to persuade you. People can attempt to dissuade you, but ultimately all choices are yours. Attempt to make honorable choices and be able to answer for any and everything that you do. Playing that blame game that students like to play is a dishonorable tactic that I have seen used often, and young men and young ladies, it is not a good look. I wish you nothing but the best in your high school career and know that success awaits you. Now you're going to hear from a student who is going to have some advice for you.
Thank you so much. I'm Riley Ming, a senior at Indian River High School. At Indian River High School, I'm a varsity baseball player, and I'm also the senior class president. I'm excited about you all coming to high school this year, so I came up with some pieces of advice that may help you out through your freshman year. First of all, take classes that you think you can be successful in. A lot of people think you have to take all hard or honors classes. As I started applying to colleges, they told us that they would rather see A's and B's in regular classes than C's and D's in honors or advanced classes. The best way to make good grades is to check your school email regularly, check student view, and make sure you have all your work turned in on time. Most teachers will give you time in class to get your work done, so if you do, you won't have as many homework, especially as in ninth grade. Honestly, you'll be able to get it all knocked out in class. Next, choose one thing you want to get involved with in the school year. It could be a club, a sport, or just a community service. I play baseball, but I've also been doing student government for the past 2 or 3 years. But honestly, I wasn't expecting to be who I am and what I've been doing ever since then. Entering ninth grade, I didn't know what I was going to do, especially would have thought I was going to be who I am today. So just looking at clubs that your school has, just take a chance and try one thing at least once this school year, and you'll at least make some new friends if it doesn't work out. Another piece of advice I would give is just be careful of who you befriend and what you say to people. A lot of students in high school, and a lot of people know each other that know each other that know each other. So make sure you stay out of drama and other people's business. Keep the friends that you have from middle school, or if you don't have that many coming to your school this year, do like maybe an academy or whatnot. Just be open-minded, but also keep a closed box of who you want to be friends with. Just be careful, basically. Some fun piece of advice is when your school has spirit days, find out ahead of time what to wear and like what those days are. You can ask like a student, maybe a teacher, maybe a principal, like especially during homecoming. That's definitely gonna be fun. Just make sure you have something and just participate in school-related events. but that's about it. And now we'll be hear from high school athletics.
Hello and thank you. I'm Mike Trebus. I am the coordinator of student athletics and student activities for Chesapeake Public Schools. We welcome you to today's webinar talking about high school athletics and activities. The benefits of high school athletics is holistic development, focus on physical and physiological growth, teamwork and leadership, learn to work as a member of a team and develop leadership skills, character building, foster good sportsmanship, ethics, and integrity, citizenship, develop into a successful citizen in a competitive society, and health and wellness, promote physical, mental, moral, social, and emotional well-being. At Chesapeake Public Schools, we definitely want to adhere to sportsmanship policies and regulations. You're going to hear that a lot, hopefully throughout your programs that you participate in, that it is something that we look forward to each year, that we want to identify what sportsmanship looks like, what it acts like. And so hopefully every student athlete and coach are modeling that behavior. And we want to make sure that that is a promotion at each school, that we are striving to be a good sportsmanship throughout our entire program. So we look forward to that each year. Eligibility requirements and standards. Obviously, we are an educational institution, so academics is first, just as student athletes, students is first. So eligibility requirements, first and foremost, in order to participate in athletics or VHSL activities, a student athlete must be taking 3 classes and pass 3 classes each semester. And we also in Chesapeake Public Schools have a 2.0 requirement. So each student athlete, we're looking at the previous semester, making sure that they take 3 classes, they've passed 3 classes, and they have a 2.0 GPA in order to participate. So again, academic requirements are 2.0 and taking 3 classes and passing 3 classes. The VHSL is the Virginia High School League. That's the governing body that oversees all activities and athletics throughout the state of Virginia. There is over 300 schools that participate and are members of the VHSL. And there's a handbook that's available for everybody that would like to read that and look over those guidelines and procedures. And that's at vhsl.org. The handbook is there. It's a very extensive handbook. However, there's much needed information that you need to look over and read in regards to your student athlete and the eligibility that they may have, especially for those that are maybe transferring in to the state or just transferring over to another school division or to a different school. Again, those regulations are set forth by the VHSL that we are members of. And if you're looking at college as a possibility for your student athlete, we want to make sure you become familiar with the collegiate eligibility standards as well. Starting in 9th grade is typically when we tell our parents to kind of start looking into that. And helpful information can be found, at ncaa.org. The NCAA Guide for the College-Bound Student Athlete is the handbook that you would be looking for. And also you can talk to your child's or student's coach or school counselor or athletic director for more information about the NCAA. Communication is key in Chesapeake. We want to make sure that our coaches are communicating properly to our student athletes, and hopefully our student athletes are getting that information back to the home. But again, we want to make sure we have an open kind of door policy in regards to communication and what we expect from our coaches and our student athletes. Typically, you want to be able to attend our preseason meetings. Coaches and staffs can go over their team rules and requirements, and it's important for the parents to be there to get that information firsthand and also ask any questions that they may have, but also just learn what it is that this coach is expecting from the student athlete, as well as you as parents as participating as well in regards to coming to games, supporting your student athletes, and maybe helping out the programs in the different areas that they may have needs in. So again, we do ask that all our parents participate in those parent coach preseason meetings, again, to kind of go over what those requirements are for that particular sport. Also, to talk about any conflicts that may arise, we do ask that you observe a 24-hour kind of rule in regards to setting up a meeting with the coach if you have a concern. We ask that you If you have an issue or a concern after a game that you do not approach the coach at that particular time, that you wait 24 hours, give that coach a call and set up a time to meet with that coach and then possibly the athletic director if necessary. So again, we just ask you that if you can abide by that, we greatly appreciate that. But again, the chain of command would be the coach, the athletic director, and then the principal. Again, we ask that you observe that and assist us with that so we can have proper communication and open communication across the board. And we greatly appreciate your participation in that. Some of the things that you can talk about is obviously is your child's improvement, maybe concerns about child's behavior. Those are appropriate things to discuss. Some inappropriate things to discuss is going to be playing time, team strategy, play calling, and other student athletes. We leave that up to the coach. We do ask that you don't bring up those items in regards to any concerns. Again, if you want to have a discussion with the coach about what your child can do to improve, which potentially might turn into playing time, then obviously that's the route to discuss those items. So we greatly appreciate you following through with that. Moving on to what sports and programs we do have in Chesapeake. For the fall in boys sports, we have cross country, football, golf, and volleyball. For the young ladies, we have cross country, sideline cheer, competition cheer, field hockey, and volleyball. And we couple co-ed, golf, cross country, and cheerleading as well that are also co-ed. Moving on to the winter, we have for boys, we have basketball, JV and varsity, indoor track, swimming, and wrestling, JV and varsity. For girls in the winter, we have varsity and JV basketball, indoor track, swimming, and gymnastics. And then in the spring, we have baseball, JV and varsity, outdoor track, boys soccer, JV and varsity, and boys tennis. And for the girls, in the spring, we have softball, JV and varsity, outdoor track, soccer at the JV and varsity level, and then also tennis. We do have several VHSL activities that range from school to school that potentially might have speech, one-act play, scholastic bowl, and debate. Those are the different VHSL activities that we do offer. And some schools also offer esports. If that's an interest to you, you can see with your athletic director, see if there's that program at the school. Important contacts. For general questions about the handbook, we do have a parent and athlete handbook that's available to each parent and student athlete on the CPS website. There's various documents that you need to read over and acknowledge that you have read and received those documents. We do ask that you find that information on our CPS website. Your athletic director will also probably send that to every parent by coming to the parent meetings, preseason meetings for particular sports. But again, we do ask that you participate in those preseason meetings to get that information, but you also may get that information on our CPS websites. For sports-specific questions, again, you're going to contact your school's athletic director. Athletic director might be able to assist by giving you the child's or student athlete's coach's contact information so that you have that as well, too. Some of our schools have that available on their athletic website as well. For collegiate eligibility questions, again, discuss with your coach, potentially your school counselor or your athletic director. If there's any grievances or discrimination or concerns about Title IX, our Title IX coordinator is Mr. Paul Wilson. He's the Director of Student Support Services, and you can contact him to look at the CPS website for his information and his contact information for anything Title IX related. Again, some key takeaways. Again, academic eligibility for our student athletes, the benefits of being a student athlete as well. The VHSL, the governing body over our Virginia High School League that oversees our sports and activities at all of our CPS high schools. Communication, the key component for our parents and student athletes along with our coaches is communication. What athletic programs we do offer, the important contacts, and again, sportsmanship. I'll reiterate that again, sportsmanship. We want to promote good sportsmanship across the board. And so hopefully our coaches and our student athletes exhibit that throughout the year. And we look forward to a great year. Thank you for attending today's webinar.
Thank you to all of our panelists for that wealth of information. Should you have any questions about this webinar or need additional information and/or resources, please contact us at face@cpschools.com. Keep in mind that Let's Talk is the perfect two-way communication for any comments, questions, suggestions, or concerns that you may have. Also, you can stay connected to Chesapeake Public Schools through the different platforms listed on the screen. Make sure you scan the QR code to download our app to receive notifications about important events. And remember, families and communities work better together.